You're listening to the John and Heidi Show, now featuring the wit and wisdom of Dan Farris.
Okay, dudes, let's walk this sucker.
On Sunny 93.3.
It's the John and Heidi Show bonus hour with Mr. Dan Farris, brought to you by SiouxEmpireJobs.com. Mr. Farris, good Wednesday morning to you, sir.
Wednesday morning to you, and coming in kind of heavy-hearted. My quick mention, this will get into some more details. I'm sure most folks are aware. Van Halen frontman, guitar wizard extraordinaire Eddie Van Halen passed away.
Yeah, one of the best guitar players in the entire world.
At age 65 after a decade-long battle with cancer. And
Very
again,
sad.
I didn't even know he was battling cancer, and that's sad.
Yeah, he wasn't hanging it out there. He wasn't like doing the talk circuit talking about it, but it has been going on for quite a while. So,
Seemed like a really neat man.
Kind of sad, kind of heavy. And again, we'll have more details on that later on this hour.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, back at the rodeo, John Mellencamp is 69 today.
And he was John Cougar for a while.
He was. Then he was John Cougar Mellencamp.
And then just John Mellencamp.
How confusing.
I know. But they didn't think that his music would sell by the name John Mellencamp, so they made him change it to John Cougar.
I just think of all the hours he spent at DMV. Poor little fella.
I'm trying to get this change back. No, you made the change.
Simon Cowell, who I've tried really hard to not like, but I kind of like him.
I kind of like Simon, too.
There's something about him that's,
he's
even though he's
snide.
snarky and mean and not a nice guy, there's a part of him that you're like, I kind of just like that he says what he thinks.
He kind of lets you in on the joke in a kind of a way.
Yeah.
You can see him smirk a little bit, like even he knows it's ridiculous.
He's 62 today.
Oh, wow.
Let's see. Vladimir Putin.
Is it his birthday today?
That crazy little Russian. He's 68.
Nice.
I tell you what, he likes being photographed without a shirt, and I got to say, he is kind of hot.
Is there a photo of him riding a bear? Is that a real photo or is that Photoshop? Do you guys know?
I have no idea.
Of course it's real.
Is it for real?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's Putin.
I saw that.
Russia, the national symbol's a bear.
I just remember seeing that. I'm like, wait, is that for real or is that? I don't believe anything anymore.
Probably lets it sleep on the bed.
Could be. I don't know.
I don't know, everybody's like, ooh, Russia's so evil. Vladimir Putin, he's so evil. Hey, listen. They can't even kill moose and squirrel, so don't worry about it. Was this day in 2001, United States, U.S. invasion of Afghanistan.
I remember that.
Launches with huge air assault and covert operations on the ground. If you were involved in any way in that, thank you very much for your service. Appreciate it.
Absolutely.
I know a number of people who were on board in that. And hey, seriously, when in doubt, I don't care what the issue is in your life, when in doubt, call in an airstrike. You really can.
Hey, next time Heidi and I are having an argument, I'm going to try that tactic.
Call in an airstrike. This is fascinating to me. I just love this. It was 1916. I was just a kid. Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets. This is college football, by the way, John.
Oh, yeah.
Georgia Tech.
Yellow Jackets, football, yeah.
Coached by then John Heisman.
Oh, they named a trophy after that, man.
Sure did. Defeats Cumberland. 222-0.
Oh, wow. So they were not just letting up at all.
The most lopsided score in the history of college football and probably any football.
Towards the end, were they letting like the band play for them?
Probably, but here's the skinny, because you hear it so much anymore, even in high school, and you'll hear it in South Dakota, high school ball, whatever. Should they, they were up by 4 touchdowns. Why did they run up the score? Because that's what it is.
Well, that's what the game is. I don't know if you know how this works, but the team with the most points wins. That's how it works.
And this
I'm not even into sports, and I know that, Dan.
Still strikes me as odd. 1967, the Beatles say, nope, no thanks, not interested. The Beatles turned down $1 million to do one show in New York.
Really?
One concert, $1 million. That's an enormous payday today for top bands.
Yeah.
Why did they turn it down?
They didn't want to do it.
Just didn't want to do it.
They were busy washing their hair.
They were doing stuff. So
they were doing stuff, all right.
I know now. You know, and we all know, and we can just stumble right ahead.
And we will. Thank you for listening to the John and Heidi Show bonus hour with Dan Farris, brought to you in part by SiouxEmpireJobs.com.
Jobs, baby.
If you take Viagra or Cialis, call now with your prescription and pay as little as $2 a pill. Call Pharmacy Shop 24/7 to get generic versions of Viagra or Cialis for as little as $2 a pill, plus free discreet shipping.
Call 800-214-7977 800-214-7977. 800-214-7977. Again, that's 800-214-7977.
Time now for Ranger Dan's Critter Corner.
Well, I'm rough, tough, and ready. I'm a heck of a man. Eat my beans and weenies from a frying pan.
He's Ranger Dan.
Easy. I'm Ranger Dan. Well, I loves to wrestle bears and lasso ducks. Run over possums in my government truck.
He's Ranger Dan.
Easy. I'm Ranger Dan. Well, I loves all the campers and the animals, too. If you're picking on critters, I'm coming after you.
He's Ranger Dan.
Yes, sir. I'm Ranger Dan.
Good morning, Ranger Dan.
Good morning, Ranger Dan.
Hola.
Wow.
Oh, my.
Are
we learning Portuguese?
Hey, that's Dan that needs to learn Portuguese.
Snappy salute. I feel.
Not Ranger Dan.
Well, stage brim of the Ranger Dan calf there. Emilio, how the heck you doing here? Senorita Heidi.
Ranger Dan.
Tell you what, if you were a YouTube ad, I wouldn't hit skip it. You may have noticed we're kind of getting our Espanol on this morning.
I noticed
Yes.
that. Why?
Well, it is right up until mid-October, October 15th. It is Hispanic Heritage Month.
Oh, nice.
Where we kind of pay homage to everything that people from Hispania have added to our country. What's interesting, and I actually looked into this, which is something I normally don't do, research. I just
Yeah, I've noticed that.
find kind of boring and tedious, to tell you the truth, but there are several countries that fly under the Hispanian flag.
Like which ones?
There's about 21 of them. Well, just a couple of them. You got like Ecuador and Guatemala. Cuba's in there. Good morning to all my little commie buddies off the coast of Florida down there. And of course, you got it's interesting. Bolivia's in there. Bolivia. That's where watches come from, John.
Oh, I've seen Bolivian watches.
Of course, if you drive a Honda, it's a pretty good bet that came from Honduras.
I don't think so, but it's
And Dominican Republic. Here's where all Major League Baseball players come from. But we want to kind of set our sights on critters here, which jumps us down south a little bit of Vermilion down to Mexico.
okay.
It's a pretty interesting reptile here. It's just known as the Mexican rattlesnake. What the heck's the difference? Rattlesnake, rattlesnake, right? Isn't it?
Right?
Oh, wrong you are!
Oh, my.
Wrong you are. The Mexican rattlesnake happens to be one of the biggest venomous pit vipers on the planet.
Oh.
Okay.
Far bigger than what you'd find here in the United States of America, your standard issue rattlesnake. Not only are they much larger, but unlike rattlesnakes you find around here, when they get agitated, they hiss in Spanish. Another unique trait. It's awfully hot down in Mexico, and as you know, snakes don't have eyelids, so what the heck's the deal? Well, the crown of that Mexican rattlesnake's head is shaped like a little sombrero. And in place of the usual rattle at the end of its tail, it's got a pair of maracas.
I think any of this is accurate.
Fascinating critter, the Mexican rattlesnake.
Can't wait to see the image on your page.
That's all the time we have today, Radio Rangers. I hope you learned something. Ranger Dan spanning the globe to bring you information you need to know because, well, gosh darn it, science.
Yeah.
This is Ranger Dan. Say it with me.
Yes, sir.
Nobody wants to buy car insurance. It's not a fun thing to think about, but it's something you need if you want to drive your car. So even if you don't want to buy insurance, you probably have to get it from someone. So why not buy it from InsuranceChicken.com? Okay, I'll admit, our website name is dumb. InsuranceChicken.com. Yeah, our marketing department is not that great. But our selection of insurance options is amazing. See if we can save you money each month on our dumb website, InsuranceChicken.com. That's InsuranceChicken.com. Time now for Water Cooler Talk, brought to you by ServPro Fire and Water Restoration.
The best in the biz.
Yeah.
And if they can take destruction by fire, destruction by water, and make it look like it never even happened.
Yeah, they
which
do a darn good job.
Imagine what they can do for just carpet cleaning and duct cleaning.
Right.
And let's face it, this past year, everybody has had to spend a lot more time indoors.
Oh, yeah.
And now we're getting into fall and into winter. And guess where we're going to be a lot more? Indoors.
Yeah, exactly.
And just traffic and everything else, the buildup when it comes to your ducts. There is dust in there. Yes, there's debris in there. Yes, there are things in there you really don't want in your air. You just don't. And the same with your carpet. All kinds of allergens and things like that. So
if you add up the square footage of all the ductwork in your house, Dan, it's like the same square footage as a room. And imagine if you never cleaned that and you blew a fan over the top of that to go into every other room. That's what your ductwork is.
Yeah, and most people don't think about it because they really don't, they don't see the inside of the ductwork, but it's pretty amazing what can happen. And ServPro removes all that stuff professionally, beautifully, and with green technology. So ServPro carpet and duct cleaning now for a deep clean you can see. Call 213-3303. How simple is that? 213-3303. ServPro Fire and Water Restoration. 213-3303.
Oh, were you looking at me now? It's water cooler talk.
I'm actually looking over this pile of papers I have over here and having no idea what any of it means. Hey, we've got a big deal coming up, and
Saturday.
Got to say, we have been working with Gail and the team now from Big Paws Canine Foundation.
Great people.
Great organization.
For a little better than, it's been about 2 years.
Yeah.
And watching the miraculous, the amazing work these folks do. They train up service dogs for at-risk military veterans and injured first responders.
So they help heroes is what they do.
Absolutely.
It's what they do every single day.
And everything's done on a volunteer basis. Now, these people take a paycheck.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. Gail will actually go to the Humane Society.
Yeah.
She picks the dogs out there, trains
awesome.
them up, and a lot of the training is done. There's a couple of folks up on the hill.
Yeah.
A couple of the folks who happen to live up there who are amazing at this, too. I mean, just the way this all works is fascinating.
It's really a cool thing.
But it takes money to do it. So,
it does.
So we got a little thing going on this Saturday.
Yeah, there's a fundraiser. And I'm going to tell you, you get a peek behind the curtain because most people don't realize how much goes into something like this. But we started working on this plan a long, long time ago. And originally, Dan, this was going to be Dog Days of Summer.
I remember when it first got brought up because it was the beginning of summer.
Yeah. So we were going to do Dog Days of Summer. And it took a lot more to get this all pulled together than we expected. And then we didn't want to throw it together at the last second and then not have it work.
And a lot of things switched up because of the COVID deal too.
Yeah. So now instead it's just gonna be a dog day. It's this Saturday. It's one day. It's 10/10/2020, and you can help us raise some money for our great friends at Big Paws Canine. I would love it if you would come out. We're gonna be there broadcasting, playing some music, and the place that will be set up is a place called Your Pet Stop. It's on 41st Street. And it's maybe even a part of 41st Street you've never been on before, because a lot of people are on the busy section from Minnesota Avenue, all the way over to the mall, that area, where you actually go beyond Minnesota Avenue. So when you go, oh, wow, you can keep going this way?
You just go
a little further east,
east. You'll go where Nyberg's Ace is.
Just drive right by that.
East.
And you go just a few, maybe 4 or 5 blocks east of 41st and Minnesota.
It's before Cliff Avenue. So.
Yeah, and you'll see it right there. It's on the side of the road, Your Pet Stop. And we're going to be set up right there with a really cool opportunity for you to get some hot dogs. And it's a hot dog meal for just $5. And we would love it if you'd stop by and see us. A huge thank you to our friends at Fairway Foods for helping us out with that hot dog meal. And also a big thank you to our friends at Fireplace Professionals and Barbecue Heaven. We've got a really cool grill. I've posted a photo yesterday on our Facebook page. It's neat because I've never seen anything quite like this. It's a grill that's a countertop grill, but then there's a little rolly cart that has a granite or marble top on it as well. So you've got the cart and the grill all together. And it's an electric grill, so you don't need to worry about getting propane and all of that. And it's really kind of a cool little setup.
I can put that right in my bedroom.
You probably could, actually.
Don't think I won't.
And originally, this is the thing that was really cool. Originally, we were going to cook the hot dogs on the grill, but then we talked to a gentleman from a food truck. It's called Fat Kid Phillies.
Oh, fun.
And I met
the best names ever.
I met Cody from Fat Kid Phillies, and I got to say, he's not a fat kid. I was like, what's with the name? He goes, well, I used to weigh a lot more than I do now. I'm like,
I did
okay.
too.
But he's super nice dude, very nice dude. And he's actually going to be the one cooking all these, getting them ready to roll for us. So if you get a chance this Saturday, make lunch plans to come and join us. I wish I could say we're going to feed everybody, but we only have 500 hot dogs. So that's not going to be everybody. But between 11:30 and 2 o'clock, we're hoping to have a solid line of people rolling through. We'll be there playing music, going to be there giving you a chance to buy a hot dog meal for $5 and sign up to win a grill for free. It's all at your pet stop, and it's all a fundraiser for our friends at Big Paws Canine.
Maybe meet one of these great service dogs or two,
too. Yeah, there's going to be some folks here. So if you get a chance, come on out and join us. Dan, thank you for letting me take this opportunity to share that.
Hey, John, when it comes to wieners, that's your wheelhouse, baby.
I'm a big fan of hot dogs. Guess what I had for lunch yesterday, Dan?
Hot dogs.
Yeah. I love hot dogs. I'm a hot dog connoisseur. And Dog Days, this Saturday, again, it's 10-10-2020. Help us raise some money for our good friends at Big Paws. All the details at facebook.com/sunnyradio.
The old way of living with diabetes is a pain. The new way is with a continuous glucose monitor. You simply apply a discreet, easy-to-use sensor on your body. If you test your blood sugar at least 4 times per day and inject insulin at least 3 times per day, or use an insulin pump and have private insurance or Medicare, you might be eligible for a CGM with little or no cost to you. Call now and say goodbye to finger pricks.
800-659-7805. That's 800-659-7805.
Time now for a bright spot of news brought to you by Paul's Designer Showroom on Lake Lorraine in Sioux Falls. Beautiful lighting in there if you want to stop in and see them. Again, they're on Lake Lorraine in Sioux Falls. And right now our bright spot shines on a really cool event that's coming up next week in Sioux Falls. It's sponsored by the Sioux Falls Prayer Breakfast Team and Cruise City Ministries and the South Dakota Prayer Coalition and Volunteers of America Dakotas. We've got our Fall Faith Series speaker, LeeStrobel, joining us on the line right now. Lee, how are you, sir?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
I'm fantastic, and I'm excited to visit with you. You've got a great program that you're going to be putting on in Sioux Falls next week. It's called My Redemption Story. Tell us a little bit about like a sneak preview of what you're going to be talking about next week.
Well, I was an atheist for most of my life. My background's in journalism and law. I was a legal editor of the Chicago Tribune. And after my wife came to faith in Jesus, I began to use my legal training and journalism training to investigate whether there was any historical credibility to the Christian faith or any other faith. And I spent 2 years doing that, especially focused on the historical evidence for the resurrection of Jesus, ultimately coming to the conclusion that there's actually, in light of the evidence that's so strong, it would have required more faith to maintain my atheism than to become a Christian. In other words, the scales just tipped, and that's when I came to faith in Christ, and he changed my life, my values, my character, my morality, my attitudes, my relationships, you name it, over time. And now I spend my time telling people the story of how, not just how God can change lives, but is it reasonable? Is it logical? Does it make sense to put your trust in Jesus? Is there historical evidence? Is there scientific evidence? Where does the evidence point?
And I hear that same type of story play out over and over and over, where somebody is adamantly against God because they think that it's all a bunch of phooey, and then they start researching, and the more they learn, the more they know, the more they grow towards Christ, which I think that's an amazing thing.
Yeah, I just met a woman named Dr. Sarah Salviander, who was an astrophysicist. Exact same story. Atheist, went to study astrophysics, and ended up, because of the scientific evidence, becoming convinced that there's a creator, and then looking at the evidence for the resurrection, and ultimately becoming a Christian. It's a pretty common story. I think there are people who, if they're willing to look with open eyes, I was trained in journalism, so I was trained to look at both sides of a story and tell things like they are, and try to be accurate and fair in what I did. And I did that in my investigation, but my attitude was, I'm going to go wherever the evidence points, even if it points me to a direction that makes me feel uncomfortable.
Now, you've got several books out there, best-selling author, more than 20 books. There's one called The Case for Christ, which has done extremely well, more than 5 million copies worldwide. And this, you've got to be very proud of how well that book is done, and also how many lives that book has changed in a positive way.
Well, it was interesting. In 2017, they did a feature film based on the book, The Case for Christ, and it went all around the world. It was in theaters for a long time, and it's gone all around the planet. And by God's grace, so many people, because the evidence is in the film, so many people have come to faith even through that film. We had a little church in New Zealand rent a movie theater, show the movie, and 22 people came to faith that night. I met a pastor who says that when he meets a non-believer, he invites him over to his house to watch the movie. And I said, well, that's great. What's the result then? He said, well, so far 37 people have come to faith.
That's awesome.
So, the movie, some people love books, some people love film. And we've got Academy Award winners and nominees and Emmy Award winners in that film telling the story in a dramatic fashion. And, so God can use whatever medium to communicate His truth.
Well, we're excited to have you in Sioux Falls next week, and the medium next week will be an event. People will be in the audience watching. I don't know that it's going to be a bunch of atheists in the audience. I think a lot of them will probably already be Christians, but you're certainly going to I'm excited to hear the program you have for next week. Yeah,
I'm going to talk about my story. I'm going to talk about specifically what is the evidence? What is it that convinced an atheist and a skeptic like me that Jesus is who He claimed to be? And, I know there's going to be a lot of Christians there, but I really hope that people are willing to invite some folks who maybe are on the spiritual fence. Maybe they're not sure what they believe. Maybe they're wondering. Maybe they're searching and seeking. Or maybe they're adamantly opposed to Christianity. That's fine. Bring them along, and let's see what God does.
Lee, thank you so much for taking the time to chat, and thank you for joining us in Sioux Falls next week.
My pleasure. Really looking forward to being up there.
Again, LeeStrobel has been our guest today. He's going to be in Sioux Falls at a noon luncheon next Thursday, October 15th. It's at the Sioux Falls Convention Center. It's sneaking right up. Again, this is sponsored by the Sioux Falls Prayer Breakfast Team, Cruise City Ministry, the South Dakota Prayer Coalition, and Volunteers of America Dakotas. If you would like tickets, I believe there are still a few left. I'm going to throw a link to all of the information on our Facebook page, facebook.com/sunnyradio and facebook.com/Sioux Falls News.
If you take Viagra or Cialis, call now with your prescription and pay as little as $2 a pill. Call Pharmacy Shop 24/7 to get generic versions of Viagra or Cialis for as little as $2 a pill, plus free discreet shipping.
Call 800-214-7977. 800-214-7977. 800-214-7977. Again, that's 800-214-7977.
Time right now for entertainment news of the day with Mr. Dan Farris. Kind of a sad day today.
Yeah, I'm not even going to do the snappy-pappy intro that everyone is such a big fan of. You can actually download that for your ringtone for just
really?
$1.99.
Nice. You're learning from Ranger Dan, aren't you?
I first came across this information that Eddie Van Halen was battling cancer, I want to say about 3 years ago or so. And I was kind of, what? Because you never heard of him really being hospitalized.
Yeah.
You didn't, nobody was really tracking that information. But for those of you who don't know, Eddie Van Halen has passed away.
Yeah, it was very, very sad news
yesterday.
yesterday.
65, legendary guitarist, co-founder of Van Halen, passed away after a long battle with throat cancer. Sources directly connected with Eddie say he died at St. John's Hospital in Santa Monica yesterday. His wife Janie was by his side along with his son Wolfgang and his brother Alex, of course, who's power drummer for Van Halen. So,
yeah.
Wow.
Super great.
That one is tough. That one really hurts.
Super great guy, and a lot of people who were inspired by his music that went on to make their own music.
I have followed a lot of bands, and I grew up playing music. I was in a couple bands in Minneapolis over the years. Just kind of been my thing. I went to actually school for music theory, and I'm terrible at it, which is why I had to get a semi-real job eventually. But the first time I heard Van Halen, it's one of those moments where I know exactly where I was, what I was doing. I was blowing down I-94 out of St. Paul into Minneapolis.
Yeah.
Cranked up the stereo, and it was Dance the Night Away.
Oh, it's a great song.
And I thought, what is
song.
this? I had never heard it. And so it got a little louder until I had it up to 11, and I'm just going, okay, I can listen to this all day long.
Oh, yeah.
Great group, great song.
Think about how many
he seemed like a neat guy.
How many different songs they have that are just iconic songs.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, it's...
amazing career.
Absolutely.
It's a big
sad
loss.
news. Thanks for the downer, Dan.
Well, I had nothing to do with it. I'm just...
It's not like he was there.
No.
Jeez. It's not like I ever tried to take his job.
No. Just saying.
Wow.
Kind of a downer.
I'm here to replace Eddie.
Kind of a downer way to...
I can play a pretty good scale.
Hey, I learned how to play Hot Cross Buns on the recorder. Does that count for anything?
Well, the good thing is Sunny Radio has the entire Van Halen library.
We do.
So we'll be paying homage in our,
All day.
our own way, or the only way we can. So.
Yeah, we started yesterday. We're going to continue today. We got a whole lot of it. Dan, thank you for coming in, sir.
Yeah, rest in peace, Eddie.
Again,
Absolutely.
the John and Heidi Show bonus hour with Mr. Dan Farris, brought to you in part by SiouxEmpireJobs.com. If you have a credit card, our friends at BetterCreditCards.com would like to make sure it's the best credit card for you. Take a few minutes to look at your current interest rate and then see what you get for points and perks. Then go to BetterCreditCards.com to see if they can help you find a better credit card. This will literally cost you nothing, and it could help you save money by getting a better credit card. Even if you don't have a credit card right now, you can check it out too at BetterCreditCards.com. That's BetterCreditCards.com. Here's your Market Beat Minute for Wednesday, October 7th, 2020. The stock market went on a wild ride Tuesday. The major indices, at first up following a strong day on Monday, fell on a double shot of news that only means more volatility in the days ahead. The first news came from the Fed chief Jerome Powell. In remarks to the National Association for Business Economics, he said the risk of doing too much is small at this time. In his view, a lack of stimulus from Congress is imperiling the recovery, a recovery that would be much stronger if all branches of government worked together. The second news came in the form of a Trump tweet. President Trump said he's told his negotiators to cease talks about stimulus until after the election. The president says House Speaker Nancy Pelosi is not negotiating in good faith and prefers to make a deal after he's won his second term. With no deal in sight, the odds of a new S&P 500 all-time high might be slipping away. You can get the inside track with Wall Street's brightest minds delivered directly to your inbox every day at MarketBeatMinute.com.